the mayor of the eThekwini municipality, Councillor Mxolisi Kaunda, who's in front. I know that there are other councillors that are present. The councillor from Ward 68 is here. Okay, may you please stand up? Thank you very much. This is our councillor. Welcome. We also have a councillor from Ward 66. Councillor Zoe is also here. I didn't see my friend is here as well from 164. All my councillors who were supposed to be here, they're all here. I'm very much humbled. I'm very much happy with the attendance. Today we are here to meet the community from 164, 166, 168. We also invited different faith-based organizations, NGOs, community organizations, and other stakeholders to be part of this important meeting. And the members of the community, thank you very much for coming. This is your meeting. I'm going to allow His Worship the Mayor to make his remarks. After the Mayor has made his remarks, I'm going to invite one of our officials, Mr. Matabata. I'm told he has arrived, he's here. Then Matabata will present the budget to you. Then after that, I will allow the community members and everyone here to ask questions, make comments, suggestions, and proposal. But because we are here in the presence of the local leadership, I will just invite the ward councillor to come in the front and just have some few remarks in welcoming us in your ward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Speaker. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. First and foremost, I'd like to welcome you, my worship, Mayor of eThekwini, Councillor Kaunda, and give me a round of applause, please. And then I'd also like to welcome you, our Speaker for Council. Give me a round of applause. You all know here, when we have meetings, the first thing we do is open the meeting in prayer. So I'm not going to ask all of y'all to rush. I'm just going to call one person, because I know you're all religious people and you're all Christians. I'm just going to ask one person to volunteer and come forward. After all, you're all welcomed into Ward 68, and let's make sure we have a wonderful dialogue, and God be with you guys.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. It's very nice to see you all here. A wonderful turnout, and welcome to the constituents from Ward 66. Can I see who you are? Ward 66, The Bluff? Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming. Can we bow our heads and say a prayer? Father God, we are grateful for this time that has been put aside for public participation, for the people to come together. You have put government in place for the people. And we thank you that our leaders have come down to us on grassroots, and that we have this opportunity to participate in what is happening in our city and to ask for things for our community that we on the ground know are in need. And so we're grateful for the time We thank you that you brought us together, and we ask that this will be a peaceful, fruitful, and joyous time. In Jesus' name I pray this, and everybody says, Amen.
Thank you very much, my two councillors. Without wasting any time, I will now invite His Worship the Mayor to come and make his remarks so that we don't waste time. But Mayor, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I don't know what is the problem now. Do you want me to move from where I am? From our residents. As they've already introduced me, I'm Mayor Kaunda. When we decided to split these community interactions, we said we need to move to the areas where we have not been, so that we are accommodating everybody to participate. We are not only seen in the areas where are traditional areas where you normally see the mayor going. So all committee members are equal. It's important that we also come here. Some of you, I've interacted with you when I was still the MEC for community safety and liaison. I worked in this area. I could not complete my project. I was then redeployed to be a mayor, so definitely we must work together to complete that project we started before. Those who are in this road, they know what project I'm talking about. Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for steering this meeting. Honorable councillors, present, the ward councillors and PR councillors, the leadership of churches here, community structures, ward committees, war rooms, all of you are being recognized, and the members of the community who are our bosses. Good evening once more. We are here today because on your behalf, we are overseeing how this government is working in eThekwini. We are acting on your behalf because you are the electorate. You elect politicians to run the municipality. Part of our responsibilities is to ensure that our democracy is entrenched. Our democracy allows community involvement and community participation. So when we're here led by the Speaker, we'll be presenting a budget and the IDP Integrated Development Plan. The plan we'll be presenting is what is entailed in the plans of the municipality, of course informed by the strategy of this municipality and its vision of becoming the most caring and livable city by 2030. That is our vision. We know we are left with a few years to go to 2030. But it's the vision that if we work together, we can achieve. It's not a vision which is over-ambitious, but it's a vision that requires all of us to work together to build this city. Some will make a reference to rebuilding this city to be a city that we all expect. So we are here today to share with you what are the plans, our budget allocations, how we intend allocating budget. The reason why we are here is because we are consulting with you. We want to get your views. We need to get your input. Once you have made your input, we'll go back and integrate those inputs from communities so that when we approve budget, our budget should be a balanced budget. A balanced budget is a budget that also recognizes the affordability, sustainability, because we can't be raising tariffs in a manner that we are going to make the communities suffer more than what they've already suffered. But also, we are running a city that requires to have a balanced budget, which will then have more revenue coming to the city, to our own treasury, so that we can be able to reallocate that revenue to service communities. So it is about checks and balances. So when you want to have a balanced budget, you must also look at how do you strengthen cooperation with residents to understand your budget, to be part of your budget, to say their inputs or to make their inputs in the very same budget, so that you don't have a budget which is imposed to the people, but you have a budget, a people's budget, where people have inputted to it and they also understand what constitutes that budget. It is important for me as your mayor to say that we may like to reduce all the tariffs to zero. That may be our wish. But the council, for the municipality, for municipality to survive, to sustain delivery of services to communities, the municipality must collect revenue from community members. Yes, we do have something called equitable share. Let me recognize Mr. Pengu. Sorry, Babu Pengu. Mr. Pengu is coming from the Human Settlement Department in the province. Thank you very much. Let's give him a big round of applause. I know some of your questions will be about housing. So we said we must bring Mr. Pengu as a person responsible in the department, so that you don't hit hard at me. As a messenger, at least we hit hard at him. So we will give him the opportunity when the questions have been raised. So members of the community, constituting a budget, it is a complex exercise. It is a complex exercise in this way. You've got to know, where are you sourcing your revenue? If you look at the economic trends globally in South Africa and here in our municipality, the economy is not doing well. There are factors that influence that. Some of those factors is that, if I can talk about our own economy in South Africa, its structure does not talk to the growth of the economy that we envisage, the economy that is inclusive, the economy that creates jobs, and the economy that will be able to circulate and service all members of the society. So we still have those challenges. Those are as a result of the structural arrangement which we all know we inherited from that time. We were celebrating our freedom on the 27th. You remember that? Our freedom on the 27th of April. So we have not yet rooted out all the roots of apartheid. We have attempted to root them out, but some roots are still there. Even the structures, some of them still exist. Although there are new policies, we have introduced new policies, but we still to work hard to turn the tide around. And together we can make that. We can make it happen. Now, the budget we are talking about, there is equitable share. They will explain about the revenue and its sources. I won't go through that slide. What becomes important is that in eThekwini, people are unemployed in numbers. They are saying generally, the rate of unemployment is around 33.8%. But when we are specific, it's 17.6%. Now, we need to turn that around, because people are unemployed, and the unemployment has got its own consequences in your life, in the societal, how we perceive things in the society. Part of that is that when the number of people are not employed, some of them resolve to get into wrongdoings because of their own socio-economic conditions. Those wrongdoings may be getting involved in drugs. Is it by their own willingness to get into drugs, some of our young people? No, it is not. They get into drugs because they are drawn there, they've got nothing to do. There are no sporting activities well coordinated, no arts and culture well coordinated, no job opportunities for the youth to participate. So as a result, they become vulnerable. Now we need to resolve that. So in this budget that we are going to talk about, we must talk about fighting crime. How we intend fighting crime in our residents. But it is not the sole responsibility of the police. I know all of us, the first question you raise, what are the police doing? When you talk about crime, is a societal problem. It's something which requires community, which requires civil structures which are operating in the areas, which require our church leaders, traditional leadership, where there's traditional leadership, which require business to come on board. Then you'll be in a better position to fight against crime. So this budget must talk to that. Now, part of the sources, since people are unemployed in bigger numbers, we are only collecting from 40% of residents of this municipality. 60%, they are unable to pay for services. 60%, they are unable to pay for water, to pay for electricity, to pay for other services, refuse collection, and all these services that the municipality is expected to render. So that on its own, it directly affects your revenue, how you collect your revenue as a municipality, because you collect from the few. You are not collecting from the majority. Because 60% is the majority, 40% is minority. So now you collect from the few. So we need to develop strategies and plans. How do we intervene in that area? But even those who can't afford to pay for services, how do you service them as a municipality? Because we've got a constitutional obligation that all citizens are equal before the law. Whether you are unemployed, whether you are in education, you are a learner, you are a student, whether you are a business person, we need to service you. It's a constitutional responsibility. So therefore, we need to devise ways of increasing revenue so that that revenue will be shared amongst all citizens of eThekwini and make this city work. It can't work without budget. We may have a wish as political leadership that we want this, we want that, but when there is no budget, we can't do that work. So today, we'll be presenting that budget to you. We are also looking at the fundamental challenges that our city is presented with. We come from COVID-19. All of us were locked in our bedrooms and our lounges without getting out to do anything. Those who are workers, they work from home. It affected economy. Ithintile ezomnotho leyo nto ngoba abantu bahlezi endlini abasebenzi. As a result, there are companies which could not reopen after the lockdown. Those companies retrenched people. Then we moved from the lockdown of COVID-19 to civil unrest. There's no one who resides in eThekwini who doesn't know the impact, the negative impact of that civil unrest. It affected the livelihood. Shops were banned after looting. People remain without jobs. There are companies, as we speak, which are still trying to resuscitate their operations. They are not yet back in their operations. So it severely affected the economy of the city. Our residents, people were retrenched. Then after we have introduced a plan which we call Economic Recovery and Reconstruction Plan, we constituted that plan as a municipality. We were happy that that plan is starting to yield some results. Then there comes the floods of April and May last year. You know, we were very happy that we are now recovering. The economy is recovering, so therefore the communities are going to regain their jobs, everything. There comes these floods in April. What they left behind is devastation. They destroyed, they were never seen, by the way, in more than 100 years. Those floods that visited us. It destroyed economy. Our infrastructure was severely damaged. We acknowledge that before the floods, our infrastructure was struggling because it is aging. But it was worsened by floods. It was worsened by floods. But we acknowledge that our infrastructure is aging. And we know the reasons why it is aging and why it was not being looked after. I'll give you those reasons. You won't be happy with those reasons, but I must give you facts because I'm your mayor. I can't come here and tell lies. I'll give you facts, factual information on that. Now, the roads, which are linkages to economy, social amenities, people were unable to go to hospitals, learners and students were unable to go to universities and schools. So all that together, being put together, it's affected the economy of the city. Now, the question that may arise, why you did not maintain infrastructure for such a long period? We would have loved to maintain infrastructure as your leadership since 1994, but also we were faced with the huge backlog of services. Communities of this city, the majority, were left without water, were left without electricity, were left without access roads, were left without bridges that makes them to cross rivers. So therefore, we had to attend to that infrastructural backlog. So you had to make a decision or make choices. In those choices, you affect others. In those choices, you also assist others. Unfortunately, we did not maintain the infrastructure, but today I stand here and I'm proud as a mayor that at least more than 82% of people in this city, they now have access to clean water. Because we took that decision to go and take money, decrease the amount of maintenance, and put more money to put new pipes in areas where they did not exist to access service, basic services. I'm not talking about luxury services here. I'm talking about basic services. If the governments who governed before us, they left people without water, water is a basic need. Water is life. How do you expect to run the government where the majority of people, they have got no access to water, the minority have got access to water? So we had to make those choices. So we put more money on the new capital projects to take this infrastructure to the areas where people were suffering without this access to basic services. So you are free to decide that decision. If it was wrong, it's your own perspective, it was wrong. But we are proud today that people have got access to water. They've got roads that are surfaced. Today, the sewage lines are going all over the city, although we have not completed that project, but the majority of people now have access to that. So that's what informed the lapse in servicing and maintenance of the infrastructure. But now, as a city, we have taken a bold decision that we must fix that. At least more people have got access to water, more people have got access to roads, more people have got access to electricity. So we can now say, at least we have serviced the majority of people. Let us redirect budget. We must put more money now in maintaining the infrastructure of eThekwini. So we are doing that. The budget we are going to be presenting today, you'll be seeing the new figures which we have never seen in the previous years, because we have increased budget for water. We have increased budget for electricity. We have increased budget for sanitation. because we know that's where challenges are, especially in terms of maintaining this infrastructure. So as a city, we want to work with you to rebuild this city. It is possible. It can be done as long as we work together. Now, the allocations we are going to talk about, they are informed by how we are going to source revenue. Let me talk about two tariffs. The others, I'll leave them to our officials. The first tariff I'm going to deal with is electricity. ESCOM have decided to increase, or have been granted the right to increase electricity by 18.4%. 18.4%. There is NESA as a regulator who have granted them that right to increase by 18.4%. Why they've done that? They've put their plans in place. They said we want to ensure that we resuscitate power stations, we make them work and all of that. These are the billions that are going to cost us. So to have a markup, to have that money, to maintain that infrastructure, we'll need a particular percentage. In our city, coming to our city, we run an electricity department. That electricity department needs to sustain its services. It needs to service communities. I'm sure you are witnesses that immediate after floods, the immediate after floods is after 3 months or 2 months, that is immediate when you have floods. We were able to restore power into the city. More than 100 power stations were severely damaged during the floods, but all of them are now operational. That's how our unit is effective of electricity. Those who reside around here, they'll know that in the South Basin area where most of people are employed, because it's an industrial zone, people were about to lose their jobs if we could not reinstate operations in those areas. With immediate effect, working with private companies, we reinstated power. There were 3 power stations, which are major power stations, which affected all industries around South Basin. We were able to reinstate operations. Why we were able to do that is because the councillors of eThekwini decided to reprioritize eThekwini municipality budget. Because if you can wait for the money coming from national and province for the floods, you do nothing, you fold your hands. By now, we'll have still having more people not getting back to their work and all of that. But we were able to reprioritize at least more than 500 million rand. What is the meaning of reprioritization? Is that these councillors seated here, together with all of us as councillors, will say this project must be shelved, must be put on hold, so that we take this money and go and resolve the road that is broken, so that you can allow the economy to run in the city. So that's the meaning of reprioritization. So there were projects which were shelved, which were put aside, so that we can be able to open the roads, to reinstate our electricity power stations, to ensure that there is water running, and also most of our pump stations, wastewater pump stations and treatment plants. So we had to do that. So that's the money that assisted us immediate after floods to reinstate services to our communities. After 6 months, we received 185 million from National. After 6 months after floods. Now, in March, towards the end of March, we then received 1.5 billion rand. You can imagine if we did not put systems in place, we were unable to reprioritize our budgets, how would have allowed your lives to move on up until March this year? So we had to take those harsh decisions. They are harsh in nature because we must address something, but we're also crippling other services and that were supposed to be delivered to communities. So we are not ashamed about those decisions because they've assisted us to have a city that is running. Other mayors of the world, because we've been having interaction with other mayors through international platforms, they are saying the recovery in South Africa, especially in eThekwini, was very quick. It takes years to recover from the nature of the floods we received. Looking at the magnitude of rainfall that we received, it takes years, but we were able to recover within a short space of time. We are not 100% yet recovered, but we are going there. So with your support for this budget, we'll be able to resolve some of the outstanding issues. Your city, during December summer holidays, we had a challenge of beaches, you remember? I even went to swim there in one of the beaches. You remember that? To prove that those beaches where we have identified, we have assessed people, it was safe for people to swim on them, but others we closed them because they were unsafe. Now, we are proud with the record that we have said that out of 23 beaches in the city, 19 are fully operational. Out of 23, 19 are operational. They are working. Because we have started to fix the sewerage challenges that we have. We are not done. I can hear others shake hands. We are not yet done. We are still on the journey of completing that work. But we are happy that those beaches are open. The ones that are unsafe, we close them. So that is our position as a city. So we are here to say, let us work together to reconstruct, to rebuild the city which was damaged by the floods, which was damaged by civil unrest, which was damaged by COVID-19 and its lockdown regulations. There's no city in South Africa which has suffered more than us. You can go around and look for that city. There's no city. So don't compare us with cities where there were no flooding like what we've experienced here. Don't compare us with them because their infrastructure was never affected. Compare us with those countries out there in the world which have suffered like us. Don't compare us with other cities. They never received the rainfall we received in this city. So, but we are hard at work. We work tirelessly to rebuild your city, but your city needs you to participate for it to be a city that you want. It is possible. It is possible to do that. Let me remind you, this city has been dead. The filth here has been worse. But look at it today. It is recovering. Yes, we are recovering. We are recovering. No. No, I don't want to argue with you. I don't want to argue with you. I don't want to argue with you. It's just that you must listen to what I'm saying so that later you can argue. It is recovering. I don't know whether we all understand the word recovering. You recover from something. You are recovering. You move because you are recovering. I did not say the city is clean. I did not say that. The city is recovering. It is improving. Let me take you to the recoveries I'm talking about so that you don't argue with me. Have you been in the CPT? Yes. Have you been in the CPT? Have you been in the CPT in the past 2 years? Yes. Have you been in the CPT now? What are you seeing there? What are you seeing there? No, I'm not talking about, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me carefully. No, please, listen to me carefully. I'm not fighting with you. I'm saying to you as a mayor, what I'm talking about, it is being recognized by people who want to recognize change. I've been in the East Coast Radio. You know the East Coast Radio? You know the East Coast Radio? Yes, I've been there. the journalists, before they interviewed me in that East Coast radio, which is listened by many people, they said to me, Mr. Mayor, we are recognizing the change the city is doing. Not me. I'm not the one who said that. I went to Ukozi FM, they say the same thing. I went to Kakasi FM, they said the same thing. The councillors. Now let me continue. The mayor is saying we are starting to improve. The situation may be there in certain areas, it's true, but we are starting to improve. And there's nothing wrong about that. I'm telling the true story. If those of us here in this room have not seen the improvements that I'm talking about, I agree with them because they've not seen that improvement. In the CPT. When you take a tax, let me give you this. When you take a tax, the tax drops you here. You don't even walk the entire CPT. You come back to the tax, then you say there's no improvement because you are afraid to walk in the CPT. Then you say there's no improvement. Yeah. Good people, let's agree. Good people, let's agree. No. I'm not arguing what you're saying. Okay, let's agree that other communities are seeing and observing that improvement. Other communities are not seeing that. Can we agree on that? Don't talk on behalf of them, those who see the improvement. I'm saying other communities are recognizing a change. Others have not seen that change. Now we are together. Others have seen that change. Others have not seen that change. So I'm now agreeing with those who are in this community hall who have not seen the change. That it's a true reflection. They have not seen the change. But I'm also agreeing with some of them who are not in this hall who have seen the change. Okay, let's drive and pass by to this issue. But the point that I'm making as your mayor is that we are putting efforts to clean this city. Yes, that's what I'm saying. We are putting efforts to clean this city. And it is going to be clean. Not in the future years. It is going to be clean as we are doing business now. Right. Okay. Now, even if the mayor agrees with you, you still argue with the mayor. I'm agreeing with you that you have not seen the change in your area. In your area. Some have seen the change. I'm now accepting that. I'm agreeing with you. Is that agreed? Agreed, eh? That some have seen the change, some have not seen the change. But as your mayor standing here, I am committing myself as the mayor of this seat. You are also going to see the change. You are also going to taste that change. Not only seeing it, to taste it. Because you deserve that change. You deserve that change. All citizens of eThekwini must have the clean areas. It is the right of citizens. Now, no, I don't argue with you, ma'am. I don't argue with you that in your area it's not clean. I'm agreeing with you. Yes, I'm agreeing with you. So, those whom their areas are not yet clean, we are coming to clean your areas. Through this budget, you'll hear this budget. Through this budget is starting in May. Now in May, We are approving this budget in May, but in July, we are starting to implement. So you are going to get the change. And that change, when you get it, please make the same noise with me and agree with me. So your mayor is making a commitment that we have started somewhere. We have not yet reached your area, but we are coming to you. The city is big. This city is big, so we are coming to your area. Yes. All right. Let's move from that. As I take leave to allow you to make your inputs, we have a plan to create jobs. Can you allow me to finish my statement? Ladies and gentlemen, you will be allowed to raise your hands. I'm now finishing in 2 minutes. Then you'll be allowed to raise your hands. Please allow me to complete my statement. I'm sure only adults are here, so adults can listen to one another. So the issue of crime in eThekwini is not a regional issue. It is a national challenge that we have in the country, in KwaZulu-Natal, in eThekwini. What exacerbates the levels of crime is that people are unemployed. Majority of our people are living below poverty lines. Majority of our people. I'm not talking about the few that can still make money and work and feed their families. Majority of residents of the city live below poverty lines. As a result, that is reflected on our indigent register. Our indigent register is starting to grow. Indigent register is the register of all residents who can't afford to pay for services. They can't afford to pay for water, they can't afford to pay for electricity, and all these tariffs that they need to service, including rates. Now we'll be bringing to you what is our plan to respond to those communities. We've got a plan. What is our plan to create jobs? Because we need to create jobs. Not jobs for the few, jobs for the people. Not jobs for the friends or those who are close to me as a mayor or those who are close to any councillor, but jobs for people of eThekwini. Yeah. Now, we'll give you answers. Don't worry. We'll give you answers on that. How we're going to monitor it. So we intend working with the private sector in the city to leverage from the value chain. To say that Toyota, we see big trucks coming to the city to deliver some inputs which makes you to produce in your industry. But we want to agree with you. We are not going to be starting big. We want to start small and grow. Please, Toyota, give us at least 2 items which are your input in your production, which can be produced by the neighboring communities here. We start from 2. Then we'll see if we can grow. Then we grow, we go further than that. But we don't want to start high and we don't achieve anything. So gradually we'll grow that. And fortunately, the businesses are agreeing with us. They are saying, that is not a problem, Mr. Mayor, let's work together. Let's identify those items that can be produced locally. Then let's open industries. We start industrializing. Then once we see that there is a change, we'll put more money to assist communities. They've agreed to do that. Not only Toyota, I'm talking about businesses in eThekwini. So there's an opportunity we stand. But how are we going to support the small operating businesses so that they can be able to participate in the mainstream economy? We are going to work with business as well to establish a fund called Enterprise and Supply Development Fund. That fund is not going to be managed by us alone, because private sector can't put money where we manage things alone. They want to put money where they will be part of managing that process. So we'll be working together with them. They are going to put their money into that fund. The board that will be presiding over the fund will be having us as a city, will be having people of the civil society, will be having business people. So that when we dispense these monies, we'll be able to ensure that it goes to the right people. Who are the right people? Are those who will produce that they are ready to work. Who are the right people? Are those that are going to work with us, understanding that we want to root out corruption. So that is not a vehicle for them to corrupt corruption. It's a vehicle to address unemployment. And we want them to understand that. And if they don't understand that, we are not obliged to work with them. We are not going to be forced to work with them. Now, ending corruption is not something which is impossible, or reducing it, because you can't eliminate it now. Reducing the levels of corruption. It's about identifying culprits, and we arrest those culprits. That's what we need to do. But besides arresting them, we must also conscientize people, those who are in positions of power, those who are in the administration, those who have now the power to disperse such funding, to understand that this is not a vehicle for them to eat, but it's for the public to access those funds. So it is going to happen. I know you don't believe the mayor now. Wait and see. Watch the space. Then you'll be walking this journey with us as a city. You are the ones who will be telling us that, hey, Mayor, what you spoke about in our community, we can see it is happening. Because that journey is going to be our journey, not only the municipality journey. So you'll be together with us. So those are the interventions, including youth programs. Youth are in drugs because they are unemployed. Youth are in drugs when they come out of school, there's no activity. The only activity is to engage on drugs. And some of you who are seated here, you sell those drugs to the youth. Yes. Yes, I'm not afraid to say that. You are seated here, you come here, sometimes you argue with us, but after this, you'll go and sell drugs. Some, I did not say everybody. Some who are here. Some who pretend to be the pastors, but they are hiding behind that. Some who pretend to be pastors, but they are hiding through their own positions, but they are selling drugs. Some who pretend to be selling in their tuck shops who are seated here, they are not only selling bread and tomato, they are selling drugs here. Yes. So let us work together, including you who are selling drugs. I am here as your mayor. I'm saying we're opening our hands. Let's work together. Stop that. Let us give you an opportunity to live without destroying the lives of the youth. You are actually killing their life. You sell them drugs that make them to drop out of school, to drop out of university. Then tomorrow when they are nothing, you are the first one to judge them. So let's work together. We can do it. We can do it together, not only the municipality. So with those words, we are now going to present the budget. We'll take questions. I'll request that we allow the presenter to present the budget. Immediately after that, all of you, even if all hands will be raised, we'll take each and every hand. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, His Worship. Sitting here, I'm observing that while the mayor is presenting, he has raised some of the issues that you wanted to challenge him while you were speaking. Forgetting that this is your meeting. You will be given time to raise whatever issues, including issues that have not been included in his remarks. This is your meeting. You were supposed to give me a space to drive the meeting orderly. I can see that the mayor was also tempted to respond to your issues. I am directing the program. I will give you a chance to speak. Let me invite Mr. Maruma to come forward to present our budget. Then after that is your opportunity to address us. Over to you, sir.
His Worship the Mayor, Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Councillors present, the other leaders that are among us, my colleagues at the city, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I've just been given about 10 to 15 minutes, so I will quickly do the overview of this budget. Slide number 3, please. Ladies and gentlemen, the budget really that we are presenting today has started with a journey of the community-based planning. So our IDP is informed entirely by the community-based planning, where the community needs were collected and they were organized into a document which is a long-term strategy of the municipality called the Integrated Development Plan. At the bottom of that figure there, this is where we find our budget, which is the only mechanism to deliver this long-term strategy of the city through the service delivery and budget implementation plan documents, as well as the budget. So the city of eThekwini, ladies and gentlemen, has organized its projects as well as programs into an implementation plan that is called an 8-point plan. Slide number 5. The 8-point plan is having all facets of human life that has been mandated into municipalities to ensure that communities are able to receive services as well as development throughout. Of all of those 8 points, I'm not going to go into the details of each one of them. I'll just go to the last one there, which is a financially accountable and sustainable city. Ladies and gentlemen, over the past 5 years, which is recent memory, the city has been able to show that it's financially accountable because it has received the unqualified audits from the Auditor General of South Africa. The issue of sustainability, on the other hand, it's a very, very significant but very difficult concept to achieve, because since the disasters that the province has faced, the sustainability of the city in a way of being able to continue to provide services, it's way much under question, because the reserves that are needed to be able to respond quickly when the unforeseen circumstances occur have been depleted in response to all the issues that have been highlighted that were caused by the recent issues of disaster. I just want to then touch on the next concept that is in our budget. If you go to slide 7, please. There we find the district development model. I'm not going to go into detail of the district development model. I'm only going to highlight why the district development model is directly important to you as the community. This concept enables the government, the spheres of government, the 3 spheres of government, to collaborate, to consolidate their planning as well as consolidate their development delivery in a way that is balanced, such that you do not fund, then there is, the one hand does not know what the other hand of government is doing. In a very practical sense to you here, if you were to raise today in this forum a question about education, instead of us saying, no, the municipality does not provide education, we would take that query and be able to raise it through the district development model platform, so that we do not send you to another government sector, but we take it and then we raise it through the district development platform, which is then ensuring that there is cohesion in the manner in which government is responding to the needs of the people. Let's go to slide number 12. Slide number 12 is showing the context really under which our budget was prepared. The mayor has touched a lot on the constraints to the city's ability to deliver on services due to the recent disasters that have affected the city. We have found ourselves having to deal with competing IDP priorities. We haven't really had a lot of growth in the rate base. People who pay rates from buying houses or having other infrastructure businesses, they haven't been able to develop or even purchase houses because of unemployment and other issues that have affected them. As a result, that constrains the city's ability to have increasing revenues. Our electricity demand as well has been reducing in the recent time. Because of that reduction in demand, you are not able to generate as much money from the services that people that are able to pay are supposed to pay for. As a result of unemployment, the debtors collection rates have reduced from what we used to have 95 to 96%. They have now reduced to about 92% in the recent time because people are unemployed, and as a result, they are not able to pay the services that they owe to the city. So those were just some of the things that are affecting and that are placing constraints as to how much of a budget the city is able to generate. But despite this, the city, go to slide number 13, please. The city has been able to increase its budget, the capital budget in the 23-24, from the current level of 5 billion to about 8.1 billion. And the operating budget has been able to increase from about the current levels of 49 billion to about 58 billion rand to try and respond to some of the issues that the mayor was talking about. In that 8.1 billion, there is the inclusion of the 1.5 billion that came from national in a way of grants to respond to the roads as well as the issues around engineering, really, as we find ourselves having to respond to them due to the floods that happened in April. The other sources of funding, the 8.1 billion, just to complete it, the 1.5 billion comes from the borrowings, and then the other 1.5 billion is that of disaster response. And then we have other grants making about 4.7 billion rand, 4.7 billion rand, which is 58% of it, and only 1.9 billion is funded from our own rates. Go to slide number 15, please. The operating budget, the expenditure is divided into all these different aspects that you see. I'll just highlight that the number one leading cost for the city is purchasing of electricity. The second cost is the property rates, and then the water is contributing the third largest portion of our revenue, And then the government grants are also contributing the fourth largest portion to our revenue. But as you can see, we do not rely much on government for funding. Slide number 16, this is where our expenditure is distributed. Slide number 16, please. This is where the expenditure is distributed. Again, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, 40% of all the expenditure that the city incurs of the 57 billion rand that we've spoken about is going to the purchase of water and electricity. And within that expenditure that you see there, there is that increment in maintenance to respond to the infrastructure maintenance backlog that the mayor has highlighted on. The next slide, slide number 18, is having the tariffs that are being proposed for the 23-24 financial year. The first one is electricity that is proposed at 21.91% increase, but this is still subject to the approval by NERSA. The mayor has gone through that tariff in much detail, that 18.49% of that particular increase is the one that is imposed by NERSA on ESCOM to charge the municipalities, and the top up from 18.49 to 21, it's for the Department of Electricity to be able to meet its own overheads and be able to sustain the supply of electricity going forward. There is an important thing that we need to highlight, ladies and gentlemen. Our conductors are mostly copper. And in the past, due to the Ukraine-Russia war, the price of copper has doubled from what we used to buy the copper for, because that war has affected the supply of that particular commodity. So in order to be able to meet that expenditure in terms of maintaining our network, we do need to charge a little bit more on electricity to be able to get the funds to sustain the supply of electricity. The next one is water. Domestic is 14.9%, business 15.9%. Refuse removal is 8% for domestic and between 7 and 9% for business. Sanitation 11.9% for domestic and 12.9%. As well as rates being at the average of 8.9% for the coming year. Go to slide number 20, please. This is where we show our interventions to the indigent register and also the assistance for those that may be on the low income brackets. The residential property up to 350, increasing it from 230 now. Will not pay rates. All properties above 350 will only pay rates on an amount over and above 120,000, which means the first 120,000 is actually excluded from the rates. The pensioners and those that are child-headed households will not pay rates if those rates are below 5,300 per annum, and then there will be no rates that will be paid on the first 30,000 rand value on the vacant land that is being held. The first 6 kiloliters of water will be free to the household with property values under 250,000, and then the first 50 kilowatts of electricity is also free to residents using less than 150 kilowatts per month in ESCOM reticulated areas, and then the first 65 kilowatts is also free to residents using less than 150 per month for people that are in municipal reticulated areas. The social package is continuing into the second slide. I won't go through all of them individually. Slide number 23. Slide number 23 shows that through various programs that the municipality will be embarking on during this budget implementation, there will be about 15,000 new jobs that will be created. Ladies and gentlemen, the slides that follow after these slides, it's your ward-based capital programs that have been planned for delivery over the next 3 years. I will not go through them individually per ward. And then the next slides that are coming, which form part of the last part of a long slides, they do not show any ward allocation. Let me just talk to this as I'm closing. Those slides are containing what we call block sums, which means that it is the amount available to spend on some capital projects. And these amounts have not yet been allocated to specific projects yet. Then what the impact of this block sum could have is that after we have had your inputs, some of these block sums which do not have specific projects will then be considered for taking into account some of the requirements and the inputs that you will give to us before we finalize the budget. However, at this stage, I think I have come to the conclusion of the presentation. Honorable Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. I requested Mr. Maroma to summarize his presentation because we have copies with you so that when I give you a chance to speak, at least we have sufficient time. Because I don't want to keep you long till it's late in the evening. What's going to happen now, because this is a roadshow, a consultation meeting with our citizens. I know that you might like to raise other issues that affect your life on a daily basis in your communities. I will allow you to raise whatever issues, but don't deviate to the purpose of the meeting to make proposals, submissions, comments on the budget, and ask questions of clarities based on the budget, while I give you that leeway to raise other issues. You raise your hand, just introduce yourself. Don't greet the mayor, the speaker, the pastors. Just your name, shoot your question, your proposal, so that we allow more people to engage. Can we agree with that? Yeah, once you start to greet, I'm going to stop you. Your name to the point. Your name to the point. Because we are recording all the comments and proposal questions where we have to respond. Let me check hands. Those who want to make inputs, please raise your hands. I will just allocate numbers to you. Remember your number so that when we speak, we follow that order. You are going to be number one. As I appoint you, please come forward to the microphone. Come forward, number one. You are number two. Also come and stand here. Stand here. Can I get someone from my team with a microphone? Number two, then it will be number three. Yes, number four. Will be number five, ma'am. Number six, number seven, number 8 in this row. Number 8. Then we'll move to this side after the first set. Okay. Okay, let me note this side so that we move with speed. Let me check hands this side, those who want to speak. You are number 1, ma'am, this side, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, in this side, after this row. Let's speak. Start.
Good afternoon, everybody. I thought I was going to face the mayor because these questions, I wanted to look at him in his face. Can I face you?
Yeah,
Mayor
first the mayor.
Kaunda. Good afternoon, sir. Okay, my issue is housing, which you did touch on, and you said everyone's going to ask about housing. Okay, being a community leader and also working with human settlements, I'm in the committee with human settlements with housing. And, you know, it's actually sad when our community is being neglected. And when I say neglected,
Let's allow her to raise her points so that we can hear what he's trying to say. Please, let's lower your voice. Continue, ma'am. Apologies.
and our community, when I say our community, I'm talking about Ward 68. We community activists here, we community leaders, and our passion is for our people. And in our constitution, it says everyone has a right to housing. So
There's a problem with, let's do this, ma'am. Let's do this. To save time, just raise your issue so that we allow other speakers. Just go straight to your question, to your point. Now, I know that you want to face the mayor, but at the same time, we want you to appear on TV,
oh my God.
right?
Not rest for 2
Now, we also to answer you on the camera. Face the mayor and the camera,
No, I face
because
the
we
camera.
are recording all what we are saying here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, and as it's our constitutional right that everyone has a right to be housed, and this is where government has failed us dismally. You know, when we look at the Freedom Charter, go back and look at the Freedom Charter, where it says the people shall govern. Y'all work for us, we do not work for y'all. But as community leaders, we work hand in hand. Y'all come into our community, y'all make promises, it's a talk shop, and then y'all are gone. So, Mayor, I'm asking, talk to your officials. I'm talking with human settlements, I'm talking with public works, I'm talking with municipality. Last year, the Masakani program, they promised us they'll be back here on the 11th of March. We are already in May. Stop fooling us, government. We are tired. Don't promise us 2024. You're coming here, you're wanting votes. You'll come here, you'll come and promise us everything. You're dangling the carrot in front of us because we're rabbits, and then you're gone. So, Mayor, I'm talking on behalf of my ward, Ward 68, Merebank and Wentworth. Please, please listen to us. We are the voice for the voiceless.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Alison. I'm from Ward 66. So, Mayor, thank you for your speech. You touched on a few things, and you asked us to give comments and solutions. So, the first thing I want to touch on, yes, I am white, so unfortunately I'm considered privileged, but I can assure you I was not raised privileged. We've had 30 years since democracy was implemented. Why are we still blaming democracy, the apartheid for all the problems we have today? It does not take 30 years to get water put to the people. It does not take 30 years to fix infrastructure. The reality is there has been no maintenance of infrastructure. It was put in place and everything was forgotten because there's other priorities like excessive salary packages when the people are unemployed and they are starving, but that is not a priority because our mayor unfortunately earns 3 million rand a year whilst the average person on the street cannot afford to buy a loaf of bread. That's unacceptable. So I say, and I challenge the government, lead by example. If you want to have your community trust what you are saying, drop your excessive salary packages so that it can compare with the average people in the streets and the lower people that don't have or cannot afford to buy the loaf of bread. Suffer for a day in their shoes and then we can talk. You have blamed roads as part of the reason why you are not able to provide the infrastructure or maintain the infrastructure. You've blamed the floods. Many people may not know that a lot of our roads are actually paid for by national and provincial. It's only the municipal roads that come out of the municipal budget. So I'm sorry, I don't accept that excuse. It's all excuses at the end of the day. Our economy is in distress. You've said how cannot afford, yet you want to increase, and as far as I know, eThekwini is the only municipality that wants to increase tariff hikes over and above inflation. How? Your economy is made up of the people that has to pay these tariff hikes. How do you expect us to pay when we are unemployed and we cannot generate the income? It's ludicrous. You want to create more debt to build or expand the Moses Mabhida Stadium or upgrade the infrastructure when your electricity and water infrastructure is a problem. We're living in sewage. You're paying so much on the interest of that debt. Why not?
1, 2.
Hello? Tasting?
Sorry,
Okay.
order. Let's listen to proceed, ma'am.
Okay, why not collect on the outstanding debt from your hospitals, your provincials, your state-owned enterprises like Transnet? That way we can build in the revenue that we need without incurring more debt and more interest on the excessive debt. It reduces the expenses. 51% of our electricity is lost to illegal connections. Why has that not been addressed? 53% of our water is lost to blatant mismanagement and not attending to problems timeously. Water is a problem, it's scarce, yet you want to increase the tariffs when Umgeni is charging you 5 and you want to charge us 14%. Why don't you fix the water infrastructure problems? I'm sorry, but boasting about 82% of our population having basic needs for services after 30 years is not something to be proud of. It should have been 100%. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's correct one thing. The lady who has just left the podium, he made a statement as a fact, of which, as a program director, I have a responsibility to correct that. It is not true that the mayor of the city earns 3 million rand. So that you don't leave the meeting with the wrong impression. Salaries for public office bearers are a public knowledge. You can go and Google all of us. You can see how much we are earning. But to say that the mayor is earning 3 million rand is misleading, is wrong, is not a fact. Couldn't say, please. Order.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Pranil from Ward 68.
Order.
Okay, my portfolio is transport and roads. Mayor, trust me, my other ward committee members are sitting here. We're getting hit every day, every night. The service delivery is very poor in our ward, number one. We can show you now photos of sewer flowing into people's yards. But yet you made a comment that Durban South is zoned as an industrial area. Why is our rate so high, number one? Right? Number two, there's an M4 project that's coming up. And we haven't had a bite of that for getting our guys in Ward 68 onto that project. Can I have an answer for that? Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Very quick to the point, very quick. Thank you. We want you, all of you, to be on TV. You must stand here. If you want to see the mayor, stand like this, so that the mayor can see you and the TV as well.
Okay, good afternoon, compatriots. Firstly, on a good note, Mr. Speaker, I need to thank you for responding to my emails. I'm Pops Rampasad, the chairperson of the Active Citizens Movement. You have responded twice on 2 sewer problems that I escalated to you. And ladies and gentlemen, this honorable speaker managed to get things done. So we are indeed, amidst all the doom and gloom in eThekwini, we do have people who work as well. So thank you once again.
Thank you very much.
That's where all the good news ends, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Mayor, on the 9th of December 2021, the Active Citizens Movement staged a demonstration outside the City Hall. 9th of December is International Anti-Corruption Day, where we handed a memorandum to the eThekwini. I've got a copy of it here. It was signed by one of your officials, Mr. Reggie Kele. Up to now, we haven't had a courtesy of a reply regarding that memorandum. The memorandum largely deals with issues of corruption within eThekwini. And Mr. Mayor, having highlighted corruption earlier on, I would like to know from you, what is the extent of eThekwini dealing with corruption within the municipality, tender irregularities, and how are you dealing with whistleblowers who are blowing the whistle on corruption? Because I've got some solutions for you too, all right? Now, we've had a presentation of the budget. So they gave you the eThekwini figures. I want to put it into context, all right? Rates. I'm giving you the highest and the next highest. The highest and second highest, okay? eThekwini, 8.9. The second highest, City of Johannesburg, with all the problems and having a mayor nearly every day, they got 5.3%. We are being ripped off and you are keeping quiet. We are being ripped off and you are keeping quiet. Why? Water. eThekwini, 14.9%. The next one is Buffalo City, 9.86%. Why are you quiet? Pansy rates, Pansy increases. Sewer, eThekwini, and we got shit flowing all over. Literally. 11.9%. The next one is the City of Johannesburg, 9.3%. Why are you quiet about it? You should be angry. You should be holding placards here. I come from a struggle background, so that's the politics we play in. Electricity. There's somebody. Oh, we joint leaders. Electricity. No, we're the highest. 21.91%. City of Johannesburg is second, and Buffalo City is second, 18.65. I'm sharing this, but I want you to get angry. Refuse removal. I'll give you the second highest, 7%, City of Johannesburg. We're in the race together, you know. The highest, eThekwini, 8%. Ladies and gentlemen, eThekwini, you are ripping off the public, your ratepayers, your citizens. You spoke about hardships, unemployment. You know this kind of increases is going to exacerbate that. So I will humbly request you relook your figures, because this is unsustainable. It really is. And then, I'm not done, Mr. Speaker. I know I can engage with you some other time, I'll do that. But we also want to say 3 big things, no to. No to the engine depot yard being used as a chemical storage facility. No. Do you agree with me? We will resist that. We will take to the streets. Mr. Mayor, have you heard of in India, the Bhopal disaster? We don't want the Bhopal disaster in India being brought into the Southern Durban Basin. We are saying no to a storage facility at the engine site. Number 2, we are saying no to a nuclear plant anywhere in eThekwini. No nuclear power. Number 3, we're also saying no to car power ships. No. Do you agree with me, citizens? Lovely. Mr. Mayor, as the chairperson of the Active Citizens Movement, who's playing a critical role in whistleblower legislation. To that effect, we made a submission to the State Capture Commission, and I also sit on a reference group on NACAC, on whistleblower. We want to sit down with you and improve your whistleblower policy as an organization. So I'm inviting you today. The speaker has my number. We can be in touch. I know we got some engagement with the Durban Coalition soon, shortly. Thank you for that. You are the first person, the first employee in eThekwini who's taken initiative. You must be applauded. Thank you very much. I hope my inputs will go a long way to making eThekwini the best city in Africa. But we need commitment from you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, next speak.
Good evening. My name is Sharon Rajman. I'm from Ward 68, a ward committee member. I'm actually very, very disappointed. I just pray and hope this is a draft budget. We are not going to be used as a rubber stamping body, just to say we had consultation and participation with the community. Previously, we had the same scenario. We were told it's a draft budget. Majority of our budget that was allocated to Ward 68 went towards the refurbishment of the Southern Wastewater Works. Why must we pay from Ward 68 budget for all the other effluent to come into our area? We are struggling. Look at our recreation facilities. We don't have anything. Look at our parks. We got no recreation facility for our children. We don't have youth centers. We don't have old age homes. We got seniors that want to go into these old age homes. The state facility, ABH, the 16 to 18 month waiting period. If someone passes on, then they take the next person. Are we going to pray and wait for our elderly to die before someone can go in there? The private facility is between 7 to 9,000 rand. They get a grant of 2,080 rand. Do the maths. How can they afford it? That should be priority. That should go into our budget. I'm just looking at the budget that's allocated to Ward 68. I am shocked. The rehabilitation of the Inkosi Albert Lutuli Freeway, our budget, almost all the budget is gone there. Why? Why must we pay for it? That should come out of National Treasury, not of our ward budget. There's other people that use the road. People going south, going north. It's going to boost tourism. If that freeway is done, it's going to boost tourism. It's going to help the city. It's not going to help Ward 68. Ward 68 infrastructure is falling down. Mayor, you need to revisit this, please. We don't want our budget going to the refurbishment of the Albert Lutuli freeway. We appreciate the freeway getting done because I know there's lots of potholes. You're driving on the freeway sometimes. Someone's driving behind you, may think you're under the influence, you're ducking and driving, you're avoiding the freeway. But the thing is, it's getting done. Take it off the national budget, not of Ward 68 budget. We don't have street lights working here. Trees are overgrown. The parks are derelict. We need a rehab center. Our youth are falling through the cracks, unemployed. There's no employment for them, although we're rich with so many industries around us. But our youth are unemployed, they're sitting at home. That is why they're engaging in drugs, substance abuse. We got children that cannot go to school because they got no nourishment, no food to eat. Please, we need that budget to go towards that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Raj Naidu. I come from Merebank. Mr. Mayor, I just want to know, you've got this lovely capital budget here, and if you ask the people around here, you know, we've come from one form of discrimination to another. When the jobs are allocated, when all the budget is used up, how many of these people are going to get jobs? Everything that happens here, we get people from outside dictating to us as to how much they need. First thing, we've got to give 30% to start the job. And the corporate people here, the people that own companies, they are left out. They don't have anything to show for it. And secondly, I look at this budget, Do you know that Ward 68 consists of two different communities? Merebank and Wentworth. Show me one thing here, 1 cent being spent in Merebank. Not 1 cent, you don't even know what Merebank is. Have you ever been there? Not 1 cent is spent in Merebank. The other thing is, you people keep saying, when I say you people, I'm saying, the government keeps saying, you know what, join us. No, you all join us. We are doing the work. 80% of the work in Merebank is being done by the people of Merebank. The grass is being cut. The trees are being sorted out. If you drive now into Merebank, you'll find that there are people with jackets monitoring and trying to keep this community safe. When is SAPS and Metro going to get involved and assist these communities? I thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Hi, everybody. My name is Alan Holmes. I'm a ward committee for Human Settlements Housing. Now, this is a challenge in our community, housing. You know, it's sad what's happening in our area, in our homes. There's 4 generations living in one home. The families can't function normal. There's windy houses. The lady, I just see her cry. The lady's windy house is leaning. It can fall on her. She's desperate for houses. We haven't had houses the last 40 years in this community. This is serious, serious, serious. People are living in people's backyards. Windy houses, they call windy houses, and paying heavy rent, which they can't afford. Which they can't afford. It's sad, guys. There's no housing in our area. And then another thing, there's a project called the Barracks Lansdowne. It's not built houses, it's meaning it's a project. It was a project we got moved over. We got forced removed in New South Africa, we moved over. Now, all the blocks are condemned, meaning water's coming from upstairs, walls are cracking, floors are cracking. It's endless problems in our community. You're waiting for the building to fall to take it serious. People really, guys, it's enough is enough. Mr. Mayor, I spoke to you in Chatsworth. Nicely, I spoke to you last day in Chatsworth. You said you're coming. You never came. Again, full council meeting a month ago. I spoke to you. You promised me before you come here, you're going to come and see the problems in our community. You never came. You coming through with a roadshow. This is a roadshow. You just coming, tick the box, and gone. That is unacceptable. You need to hear the people's cries. As the mayor, you need to come to the people, the community, walk through the community, and hear what the people are saying as a good, genuine leader. As a genuine leader. You lead by example, not saying something here. You're saying the drug merchants are sitting here, there's some of them. How the drugs are coming into our area. The government officials are involved bringing the drugs to our area. The police are involved bringing the drugs into our community. So don't say blame the community. This is facts, don't blame the community. Blame your structures. There's people, there's police that's paid to protect us. Hey, they don't even come out. There was an incident that happened. The police is 2 minutes away. The drive is 2 minutes. 45 minutes the police come. The people shot somebody, they took their gun, they came back for the gun, no police came. Guys, this is unacceptable. There's a lot of pain in our community. I can't talk all of it here. There's another issue. We're living in a South Durban Basin area. The pollution is high in this area, right? It's causing autism children a lot. We haven't in this area got an autism school. There's a reality, guys. The pregnant women are suffering. There's no autism school in this area. Guys, there's a lot. Mayor, you look good there on the top. You need to come down to the floor and walk with the people and see the problems. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. I'd just like to say it's quite funny how a budget has been drafted without the people included. So this budget is not for the people, it's for you all. Secondly, my question is, you came, this is the budget, you're saying this, how do we hold you accountable if none of this is done? Don't say 2026, because 2026 is quite too far. As you said, we're going to see it now. How do we hold you accountable? Can we come to your office and say, Mr. Mayor, resign? Second thing is, this is a budget, but the priority is not youth. Why is the youth not a priority in this budget? We're trying to solve these issues, but the youth is not the priority. So we're solving these issues for the older generation, and then when the youth are there in the positions, they must solve these issues again. So you're kind of creating a cycle that won't work. The youth should have been priority. And also, lastly, I live in Windhoek, I'm unemployed. Will I be employed? And I've been applying to the Itegwini youth thing continuously, and no response. They don't even tell you didn't make the job, nothing. It's just you apply, and you apply. You'll keep saying jobs are not bought, but when we look, someone's cousin is in the position, their auntie is in the position. I'm unemployed, I don't have money to buy a job. Mr. Mayor, please make a plan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Let me. There were six hands. There were 6 hands. This side that were identified will come and close over that. 6 hands this side. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rochelle Dickens. I'm part of encouraging the youth, and I'm a part of sport in the community. Okay, to you, Mr. Mayor. I will start where you started your beautiful speech about how our city is progressing. It's progressing so much that the route that we take to get into town.
Order, so that we all hear her. Let's just give him a chance to speak. Apologies, ma'am, proceed.
Okay, we've progressed so much. The China Mall that burned, how long ago? The road is still closed there. And it creates a problem for us because we have to go down to the market, round up, and you know that the paramedics are full there. So it's a problem for us. So please sort that out. Okay, number 2, you said that you would bring private sector into helping and creating jobs and so on and so on. Mr. Mayor, I hope that you and your office will make sure that there is no corruption there. I hope you will hold people accountable. Make sure that even the councillors, all of your councillors, make sure that they are doing the work that they're supposed to be doing. Because as the previous speakers even spoke about, you see these people sitting here, we are mostly a forgotten people. And the sad thing is, you spoke about how drugs has affected this community. You, Mr. Mayor, should have made a community like this community a priority. Especially we've had so many deaths. You should be making sure that those are the communities that you prioritize. Our Wentworth Hospital, we have no community members working there. Our Austerville Clinic, we have Amlazi and Kwamashu working there. Our library, we have even from as far as Inanda and wherever working here. While we are here, we have admin skills. Even I myself, due to COVID, I'm sitting at home. And you spoke about electricity increasing. Majority of us are depending on a pensioner. who has to pay a bill of something like 1,500 Rand a month. And then we still have to pay a levy at the flats where we're staying because the flats need to be maintained. That one is another 300 Rand. You know how much the pensioners get. So where is the money to buy food? So must we always go hungry? Or should we come and sit there at your office or come and sit by your gate to beg for food? You'll need to take these things into consideration, even when you're in those meetings that are deciding on those increases. Think about the ones who can't even afford that. Okay, and I just forgot my last point.
Thank you, ma'am. If you've covered it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm getting worried. While I'm taking hands, the hall is becoming smaller. People are leaving while the meeting is not yet over. I know it's because now it's getting dark outside. It's getting late. I just want to make an appeal, order. I want to make an appeal to my speakers to be brief to the point so that everyone is being given a chance. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I'm the wrong person to try and silence right now. I'm not the one. Yeah, it's dark out there. People are leaving because there's no lights out there. They're afraid to walk on this road. You go down to the police station down there, there's no lights. There's manholes that are right here on Austerville Drive that are missing. Right outside of the primary schools and the preschools where our children are walking and our elderly are walking. And you're telling us about infrastructure that has not been maintained for 30 years. Yet, Mr. Mayor, you say it's because of the previous people, because of the previous apartheid, pre-apartheid era. Doesn't take so long to sort out infrastructure. Now you're proposing an increase in electricity and water to who? To our people? That we must pay for your proposed increases that NERSA, who's the regulating body, has agreed to. With whose consultation? We were not consulted with that, but yet we must agree to that because you come and draw up a budget that you address us. Talk about small businesses. Let's talk about that. What have you guys done for small businesses except put so much red tape around it that makes it so hard for them to get in? You kill us before we even try, and then you tell us that you want to help to fund us with what? Please explain. Our hospitals are a hot mess, but I wish they were a hot mess with hot water for our patients who are lying there. Our patients are lying here in Wentworth Hospital with no hot water. It should be a disgrace to have your patients that have water boiled in a kettle to have a cat splash, we call it, because you can't call it a bath. So what are we really doing here? Who has this been? Who sat around this table? And is Ward 68 in the center of this discussion? Because the stuff that is going on here in Ward 68, you should not be proud of any of that. There's no reason for pride here. When our children are dying on a daily basis, just this morning there was a shooting of a young child and nobody comes out to Wentworth. We marginalized for jobs. The work that's coming up, you're talking about all this. Who gets all the tenders? Nobody here. Nobody here. If you're saying integrated development, your panel's not even integrated, Mr. Mayor. There's no integration here. So who's those jobs that you're creating gonna go to? Is it gonna go to our children? I seriously hope so, because let me tell you guys something. If this is a 2024 ploy for elections and votes, you're gonna come short because you see the tide has turned and the people are tired.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
My name is Nadine Kerst. I am part of the Wentworth CPF and I'm busy with Wentworth Youth, part of Durban South Local Football Association. And I want you to know, Mr. Mayor, we as a community are working really, really hard to put into our community, and we get zero assistance. Our schools have no educators. Our schools have no educational activities, no extramural activities. They have no funding for those activities. Reason being, that's the reason our children take to the streets, because there is nothing for them. Our children don't get food in schools. It's a national situation where our children should be getting food, basic meals, so that they can focus in school. They're not getting any of that. From what I see, we as Ward 68 are previously disadvantaged, and guess what? We are still disadvantaged. When are we ever going to be advantaged? When are we going to be recognized? This is just the apartheid regime in reverse. As government officials, I challenge you to take your family members to Wentworth Hospital to be taken care of. Take them to Wentworth Hospital to be seen to, where the hospital is run by security members. Securities do triage in Wentworth Hospital. People with heart conditions are left there to die, with clots moving towards their heart. And if community members are not there to fight for those speedy blood results, they will not get seen to, they will die there. People get left with wheelchairs outside the hospital to walk in with babies. This is just something that we've recently experienced. People go to the hospital in the day. They must come back the next day. They've got cancer, they've got painful illnesses, they're treated like dogs. So I challenge you, Mr. Mayor, to come with us to Wentworth Hospital, because right now it's the only medical care center that our people have access to. I challenge you to go with us to the hospital and see the state of that hospital. I don't even think it's good enough for rats to live in it. I think, yeah, that's all.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, everyone that's come up has spoken on what I actually wanted to touch on. But Mr. Mayor, you spoke about employment and our generation, young generation here being unemployed. But we sit and watch TV where we have passing out parades of 98% of black people and 1 or 2% of colors, white and Indians, which makes us almost obsolete in this government that we're living under. We'd like you to look at your government offices. When you walk in there, colors, whites and Indians are obsolete, and we are treated very rudely when we attend the Martin West for lights, police station, hospital. They need to have a medium of communication, because 90% of the people that are there speak to you and scandal about you in Zulu, not knowing that a lot of us understand what they say. And it's going to lead to a civil war one of these days, because it's making us angry, Mr. Mayor. The budget that is presented here for the people should be actually held back for security for when the time comes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for being here and listening to us. I hope something comes of it. I'm a pensioner. I'm on a fixed income. I have no hope of ever generating further income once my money is gone. Water, I use 3 kiloliters a month. I have to pay for 9. I don't begrudge the extra 6% for those who haven't got. But is it right? It isn't right. You give this budget, it's this percentage, that percentage. If you add up the whole lot, it means an increase of 50%. Where do pensioners get the money for an increase of 50% on a budget? We don't have it. We will be sitting in the Wendy house with the people in Austerville, and because we cannot afford to stay in our homes anymore, which we worked hard for 40 years. I've said to a bus driver, after 40 years in the bank, I never earned what a bus driver earns today. Is it right? It isn't right. And we're still supporting. And we, particularly as whites, will carry on supporting until we have no more money left. And then we'll all be in the same position. I was listening last night where eThekwini cannot answer why there's a councillor sitting in jail for a year and getting a full salary every month. I think that is disastrous. The speaker who was answering the questions sat and looked up. He couldn't look at the camera even. And when they asked, what are you doing about it? Oh, we are going to look into it. Why wasn't he missed after 3 meetings when he didn't attend? Why wasn't it picked up? And that's just one. That's just one person. How many teachers on full salaries and never put their foot into a classroom? They're on sick leave. You know, they're on sick leave, leave of absence, and that sort of thing. It's time we got down to basics and collected where we can collect, rooted out all the ghost employees that are being paid for. And please, as far as schools go, I feel sorry for people in the townships who have to come to the suburbs. Imagine the money, the petrol that has to be used for them to come here. Our children have to go elsewhere. It used to be a case of if you stayed on the bluff, you had to go to school on the bluff. And today, those children that went to school on the bluff are in high positions all over the world, but not in South Africa. Why? I've just visited my daughter in America because she could not get employment here. She's earning and building up America for them. Why? Thank you. Please.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much.
My name's Gerald Finn. I've been listening to most of you guys complaining to the mayor. It's simple. It sounds like we need a new councillor. Please, Mr. Mayor. We need a new councillor. We haven't had a councillor for years. Organize our councillor a pension package, please. My heart cries out for the middle school. Everywhere I go, I hear about pension, youth. What about the middle school? Mr. Aubrey's name should have retired 10, 14 years ago. He needs his pension. Please, he needs to go relax on the beach. And then my proposal for you guys, Ward 68, highest crisis is loss of life. With that, military job description is to be able to kill and die for the right thing. On our corners, we got soldiers called 26, 27, 28, and 29. Can we not put them in the military and rehabilitate them, please? Also, our police stations, can we not employ a safety officer to mitigate and put control measures in place, please?
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Councillor, Speaker, good evening, Mr. Mayor. I'm Senior Chief Mervyn Damas. Mr. Mayor, everyone is touching on something very close to their hearts. Wentworth Hospital was renovated, I think 3 years ago. The trauma emergency unit is not even open again. So when you need a stretcher or a wheelchair, you got to walk over 600 meters to get that. And it's not equipped to handle emergencies. So as everyone is saying here, that...
Sorry, sir. I know that it's late in the afternoon, but we are left with one speaker now. Let's allow him to express himself. Please be quiet. So to say, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The other thing you spoke about corruption. If you look, when you're going out here, across the building here, there's flats, these houses that were built as cardboard. They're falling apart. Millions were spent on that. Please, Mr. Mayor, have a look at it when you go out, or even send your team, because the integrity unit needs to come into Wentworth and look at this refurbishments that's happening here. Because they're using substandard material. Even if you go to the rent office here, the guys are sitting there. They're supposed to be on the roads. The substandard material, the windows are falling, the doors are falling. You open the hot water, the cold water is coming out. That's one. The project is taking so long. We signed a petition to build flats in parks, here in Labi Road. And what happens, the guys want to bring these white cabins. So I'm saying, why bring white cabins for 3 million or 4 million when you can build houses? Because there is a shortage of houses. And the saddest part, we came to that council meeting, Mr. Mayor, we spoke to you there when we came back from lunch about the number of deaths in this community. I think the figure sitting at 64 for last year, now it's like 26 for this year. As a senior chief, we found a station, people will phone us, we found a station. We're waiting for backup from Brighton Beach. Take a drive to the police station, or I can show you photos from my phone now. There's 4 vans, all flat tires. So how would we expect them to respond? They're under-resourced. The police station, go look at that station. That is why the people are so angry. Skills development for the youth, there is nothing here that's happening here. If you look in the papers, always outside areas is getting centers being built, skills development. And I think I saw your article about you with skills development, Mr. Mayor. That's close to your heart, and it's close to all of our hearts here. Please, Mr. Mayor, come out. There is a buildings here in Jacobs that belong to the council. I think there is leaders here. Please, we've sent you emails for you all to have meetings with us. Please, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Sorry, can you call the site and leave your details? Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. I'm from Cowwood, I'm from Ward 68. You see all this.
Can you please stand here?
Sorry. You see all this here is
Can you
all
stand here?
copy and paste, first of all. All business copy and paste. You all are talking about skills development. What you're doing from your offices, you're taking uneducated people, putting into all these positions that they know nothing. So where is that? It is imperative to have accountability. Skills development, you see, all this is a waste of time. Your guys need to be skilled again. It all boils down to basics. So all business copy and paste. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are now come to an end of our meeting. I'm not taking any more hands. Then all your comments, I will allow the officials, if there are responses to what has been raised, before I allow the mayor to make remarks and close. Can I get response from, I'm not taking hands now, any officials, departments who want to comment before the mayor? Human settlement? Human settlement? Let's allow Mr. Pengu. Order. Let's settle down.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Sanmonan. My name is Tulani Pengu from the Provincial Housing Department. From the comments that were made today, I have noted the first one saying that Ward 68 is extremely neglected when it comes to housing. I have noted that one. The second one that we have noted is that those that did get houses so many years ago, there's now 2 or 3 generations still using the same house. because there's no extension. The third note that I had made is that those houses, old as they are starting to crack and there is poor maintenance on them. And the last point that I've noted to do with us is that where we do refurbishments, there are complaints about poor workmanship and the materials that are substandard. So those 4 comments, we have noted all of them. We wanted to report quickly through you, Speaker and Mayor, that we had committed that all the 150 one-bedroom units here in Austerville Road will be replaced, will be demolished and be replaced by 2-bedroom units. That exercise is now at rezoning stage. The moment we conclude planning, we will need your cooperation to demolish all 1-bedroom units and convert them into 2-bedroom units. Second part, in relation to the comments that we had made, as far as the department program is concerned, we had already done refurbishments to 499 units. There is still 497 that need to be completed. It's a project that has stalled, where we had challenges with public works that are now being resolved through the implementing agent. So once that is resolved, we will then deal with the remaining 497 units. The designs for us to attend to the stormwater issues and retaining walls, those designs have been concluded. We are now moving to implementation stage. Lastly, Speaker, we have a program here where we give occupants of the flats title deeds, what we call EEDBS. We are requesting residents to take up those flats. Right now, we are noticing that there is resistance to take ownership of the flats that you live in. We are saying, please, take ownership of those flats. Lastly, from my side, which you will understand, I'm saying, please bear with us in instances where we need to cover for the younger generations outside this area because we don't have sufficient land available here. So there are 2 options. It's either we densify or we build outside this community wherever we find land. We are saying, please cooperate with us on that one. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Pengu. Let me deal with one issue that I want to clarify that is in the public domain in the last few days. The issue of a councillor being paid while in prison. Before I allow the mayor to respond and close. As councillors, payment of our salaries or allowances are guided by 2 pieces of legislation: the Public Office Bearers Act and the Municipal Structures Act. Those are the acts that regulate the payment of councillors. In terms of the Municipal Structures Act, there's Schedule 7 that talks to the code of conduct for councillors. Once a councillor has been absent in 3 consecutive meetings, that councillor should be removed as a councillor. But it does not stop there. It also dictates that there must be a process to be followed by the Speaker of Council for that councillor to be removed. In the case of Councillor Ngiba, once we were informed that he has not sent leave of absence or apologies to council meeting, it was in November last year. By December the 2nd, I wrote a letter to him using the address that I have in my office as a Speaker of Council, giving him sufficient time to respond. After not getting any response from Councillor Ngiba, I went to Council, requesting Council to reaffirm or confirm that the procedure that was adopted last year in April can be used to start a process of disciplining Mr. Ngiba. We then followed the process. Currently, we are at a stage where we are preparing a report to Council, reporting on what has been done. Because both in our regulations, there's nothing that said once a councillor has been absent in 3 meetings, you immediately terminate his employment or you stop his salary. Councillor Ngiba, as he is in prison talking to you today, he will only cease to be a councillor once all due processes has been followed and he has been removed officially by the MEC Cocta provincially. Then that when we stop his payment. That's what the law says. I know that citizens might have some concerns, grievances. Unfortunately, government, we don't run government with emotions. We run governments guided by the law. Because if we don't follow the law, the very same people might challenge us in court. And if we are found that we are on the wrong side of the law, we will be challenged and be accused of wasting taxpayers' money. The issue of Councillor Ngiba is being handled according to the law. Thank you very much. But Mayor, can you please respond and close?
Thank you very much. You did not disappoint. You did exactly what we expected. To ask hard and difficult questions because we have to account to you. So give yourself a big round of applause for that. Thank you. No, we gave people a chance to talk. There were 2 lines on this side and this side. There were even gentlemen from that side there. So the speaker was very fair in pointing hands. No, colleagues, no, members of the community, the speaker requested you to raise your hands. So we do not take hands of those who only get provoked by other people's statements, then they start raising their hands. So when you are given a chance to raise your hands, please, in the next session that you'll be having, raise your hand early. Don't listen to others and you want to come and respond to what others are saying. So that's the procedure of the meeting. So please, he took all the hands. So I think he was very fair. Okay, let me start by acknowledging that those who spoke before all of us here, they are representing the community. And they spoke with respect. That's what I appreciate as your mayor. No one came here to insult me. No one pointed the finger at me or a middle finger. All of you, you spoke with respect, and that is highly appreciated. And that is why you pay me. You pay me to come and listen to you. You talk, then I go back, I bring the solution. And you are going to see that solution that I'm going to talk about. This is not a talk show. Yes, this is not a talk show. No, Ma, give me a chance, Ma. Please, Ma, give me a chance. You'll hear when I put an action plan. Please, allow me to talk. Yeah, no, can we do this? Allow me to give you responses. Don't disrupt me. I was listening attentively to all speakers. So please give me a chance, because I don't want you to leave here without getting responses. Please. Firstly, let me address the issue of the hospital. We got the views about the condition, bad conditions of our hospital. The hospitals are run by the province. So I am going to talk to the MEC who run hospitals. Then I'll accompany her to have an oversight visit to go and look at the condition of hospital. Yeah, so I can't tell you now the date because I'm here, I have a diary to run. This city is big. This city is big, so I can't confirm here that I'll bring her next week. No, I can't do that. I'll be telling lies. So we'll make this publicly known that the MEC is coming with the mayor to observe, and councillors will be informed to inform their residents as well. We'll use social media. We'll use social media to inform you. But if you want us to make a surprise visit, we'll do that. You want a surprise visit? Okay. We agree with you. We'll have a surprise visit because we want to surprise them to see what they are doing with fire. That's the first agreement. I want to repeat myself in some of the statements that I've made. And I would like the members of the public to listen carefully. In 1994, we defeated apartheid, I agree. In 1994. In 90, yes, we put you as well. We put me, put you, put everybody. Yeah, so don't worry. When you don't hear your name from we, I won't mention your name, but you are together there. We defeated apartheid. Not all of us, of course. Those who were concerned, okay? Those who were in the struggle, not those who were oppressing us. So there are those now who want to claim to be the liberators, but who oppressed us. I'm not talking about them, I don't represent them, and I don't know them. Now, in 1994, now it's 28 years. Is it feasible to undo the work and the laws and their impact to the society that were done in more than 300 years? I want us to be scientific. Yes, I want us to be scientific. Let us not say things which are impossible. It is not possible within 30 years to undo what was done deliberately for more than 350 years. It is not possible. But we are going somewhere. Listen carefully. Listen carefully. We are walking this journey to change the society. Yes. Can I be allowed? I want to answer because you questioned me. So now, even if my answer does not make you happy, it's not everything that you said that makes me happy seated there. But I kept quiet. So my answers are not going to be making you happy, but some of them, they are a true reflection of what South Africa is now as we speak. So please listen carefully. And it's so unfortunate when somebody who participated in oppressing you, then we start denying that. Yes, it's not something that is easily accepted. So please, let's walk this journey together. We blame apartheid because there are roots of apartheid in this country. In this country, we still have racism. Yes? Yes? So we undo apartheid, but we still have racism. And that racism must be rooted out. Yes. No, I'm not talking about the one that you have in your perspective. I'm talking about the real racism. When you are like me, and you are like all of us who are seated here in majority, then you are looked at as a person that does not belong to South Africa. So we must deal with that. But together we can defeat that. But to put a blame to us that we were supposed to fix everything that apartheid did in 300 years, then within 28 years, it's an unfair blame. It's not possible. Now, what are we going to do? Because we can't keep on complaining. What are we doing and what we are going to do? Listen carefully. Can you allow me, please? You guys, you are impatient. Allow me, I allowed you to speak. Thank you. Let us just be patient with one another. But also let us talk about facts here. Let us not talk about things which are not happening in South Africa. Right. Yeah, I'm honest. No, I'm saying I'm being honest to what I'm talking about. You can read books, it's like that. Apartheid 300 years, democracy 28 years. So that is history. Right. Now, the issue of infrastructure. This is what we are going to do. In the next 2 weeks, we'll start with Ward 68. In the next 2 weeks, I'll be sending my full team that will be dealing with potholes, that will be dealing with sewerage, that will be dealing with electricity lights that are not working, the team that will be dealing with water leaks in 2 weeks' time. So judge me after 2 weeks. Okay? That's an intervention. It's not a promise, it's a commitment. Yes, hold me on that. 2 weeks. Hold me on that. 2 weeks. Ward 68, not in all wards. Ward 68 in 2 weeks. Then we'll follow with other wards. Don't say the mayor said all these wards within 2 weeks, all these teams will be in all wards. No, it's not possible. Give me 2 weeks for Ward 68 first. We'll move to 66 and the other ward. So please give us that opportunity. Secondly, let me deal with some issues here which they seem not to be bringing us together. Let us become one community. As your mayor, you read my media statements. I said my employees are lazy. I said that. Why did I say that? It's because I acknowledge that the services you are getting are not the services you're supposed to be getting. I acknowledge that. And we have started to fire them. We have started to fire them. And we are going to fire them. So that's a commitment I'm making as your mayor. So those who are lazy will be fired. Because we must allow the youth, which is still unemployed, seated at home, who are still energetic, who want to work for this city. So watch the space. Watch the space. You'll be reading the news. Who has been fired? Who is following? You'll see all that happening. But those who are working, we want to appraise them. Those who are doing good job, let us not put them in that grouping. Those who are working, we must commend them. But there are very few. There are very few. So we need to make others wake up. The others must wake up. We must whip them hard. Okay. So I'm not saying this because there is election next year. I'm saying this because there are challenges in this seat. I'm saying this because there are challenges in this municipality. Not that there is an election next year. Election next year does not involve me. I'll still be a mayor even beyond the elections next year. It's national and provincial elections. Yeah, this is the city that is stable. Other cities, they sleep without knowing who will become the mayor tomorrow. Here, we are working. So we're going to resolve these challenges together with you, by the way. All right. Let me deal with the other issue here. M4. M4 is our effort because you've been complaining as people of the South. You said we are neglecting you, we are only fixing M4 towards the north. But when it comes to South, we are just neglecting it. So we have put 130 million, that's why we are seeing us working, coming to link with N2. So that project, once it is completed, we'll put another money for the inbound. We are now completing the outbound. So your road is going to be the good road that you can traverse in. Okay? So we are putting money there, your money. We are not stealing it, we are doing the road. In the budget, where is my young brother who was seated here now? He asked a good question. Where is he now? He's there. Oh, yes, he's there. In this budget, members of the community, we are giving bursaries to those who successfully matriculated. Bursaries. Full bursaries, not half bursary. Full bursaries. In this budget. In this budget, we are building. In this budget, we are building centers that we called centers of youth centers of excellence. These centers we are building, we are putting computers there. With those computers, we are changing the lives of those who can't afford to have money to go to Shell House and collect an application form and come back and also have another money to bring it back. Digitally, we are now assisting our young people to access opportunities using our technology. We are putting free Wi-Fi in those centers. Yes? Free. Yes. No, if you say you haven't seen it, don't worry, we are coming. It's just that the city is too big. So we can't be everywhere. So we need to walk this journey because this city is big. I'm a mayor of a 4 million population. Yes. So don't forget, when you talk with me, don't think that the mayor is only looking after 600,000 residents. No, we're looking after 4 million residents. Okay. Now we are investing in youth. We are continuing to build libraries. The others have been saying we must stop building libraries. We are saying we are not going to be stop doing that because we understand that the youth must have access to information. So we'll continue with that. We are building libraries. Well, okay, I'll talk to you later when we are done here. I hear that you still have your grievance about your library. So please, let's talk later. Immediate, I'm done here. Give me 5 minutes to complete. Now, the issue that have been raised about crime, I fully agree with residents. It's not only here. People are killed in this city in each and every corner. You read from newspapers, you also watch TV. So these things, these mass killings, everything is happening in each and every corner. Hence, we've engaged the Minister of Police to work with us. But we thought that if we are going to be waiting for the Minister of Police to intervene, he's looking after the entire country. So we need to do something as a metro, as a municipality. Hence, we decided in this budget, this year, we'll be training 400 Metropolis officers. Every year, we'll be recruiting 400. On an annual basis, we have increased the number from 200 to 400. Why we are increasing the number? Because Metropolis, their footprint is limited because of the numbers. There are only 2,000 members. So we want to increase that number to 5,000. Okay, so I hear that there are people who are complaining about how the recruitments are done. we note that complaint. It's a genuine complaint. Hence, we are putting systems in place to try and ensure that we enforce that nepotism is not applicable when we do our work. People must be employed because they deserve to be employed, they qualify to be employed. So work with us in that. When you have a name of an official who does that, don't go and talk all over your ward. Come to us as a whistleblower as you have raised it. We'll protect you. We just need a name and the same name, then we fire that person. That's what we need. So this thing of generalizing that, no, there's nepotism there. Nepotism is there, we agree. But please, help us. Who has done something to you or to your neighbor, to somebody else, then let us fire that person. That person does not belong to the municipality, he belongs to jail. Now let's work together. We'll protect you. When you give us information, we'll protect you. Lastly, because other issues I've noted them for processing. As I said, we'll be sending the team. As I said, we'll be coming with the MEC, a surprise visit. So I've already answered those questions of service delivery. Now, the issue which I want to address is the issue of those who are over 35 years that seem to be excluded in everything that is being done. We are changing that. We are changing that. That thing is unacceptable. That thing also contributes negatively in the crime growth in our society. Because those 35-year-old and above, they are breadwinners. So if you say you don't employ them, where are they going to be employed? So, but we'll try and ensure that we give you at least some quotas, because the youth must occupy most of the jobs, because they occupy the high ranks of unemployment. So please don't fight us. When we say 60% youth, 40% others. 60% youth, 40% others. So understand that we are addressing the issue of the youth, which is unemployed in bigger numbers. So it's not going to be 50-50. The youth must be up, then those ones must be at that level. So we are not forgetting about you. The issue of the budget. I like the comparison that you have done, my brother. It's a good comparison. But in the areas where you compared us with those cities, they are not going to be having a shortage of water in the next 10 years. So whatever we are doing at this level as the city, we are looking at the sustainability. Some of them have not realized that. They'll realize it later. That is why they won't be the same like us in terms of tariffs. So in this city, because the residents must get the facts, in this city we'll be constructing a 24 billion dam because we need to increase the source of water in this city. It is not there in Johannesburg, it is not in Cape Town, it is happening here, and we need 24 billion rands to build that dam. Yes, 24 billion rands. What the national government committed to do, please listen carefully. Let me put this thing down. Yeah, we spoke with the minister because the minister listened to us. Hence, the national government said, we are going to assist you. We'll give you 50% of this money. What is the 50%? It's 12 billion. But that 50% is divided into two. The first 6 billion is a grant to us as a city. It is going to be a grant. We don't have to pay it back. But the other 6 billion they are giving us is a loan to us. Now, with all the costs that you are looking, we've been staging the tariffs because in the next 10 years, we should be able to service that debt. So that's why you see 14% in eThekwini, because in Johannesburg, they are not building that dam, which will cost them 24 billion rand. So I want to put things into clear perspective. So please don't compare us with them. They are not building 24 billion dam. Yeah, we are building it here, and it's going to service the generations to come, not only us seated here. Because if we don't take good decisions for next generations to come, they will be blaming us. So we have taken that decision. So in this month, we have made a markup for that. So there's no argument now about water. Let me go to the electricity. Electricity. 18.4% that will be charged by ESCOM. Our administration came to us with a proposal of budget. They said we need to increase electricity by 9%. We said, no, it's not going to happen. Why we said that? Because we acknowledge the economic conditions of our community in eThekwini. They calculated to us, they said, Mr. Mayor, if you want us to sustain services, if you don't want us to operate on the deficit, if you want us to service the community better, we need 9% to cover the cost. We said no. Since people have experienced the economic challenges, let us at least increase it with only 2% instead of 9%. That is a markup on top of 18.4% that will be charged by ESCOM to us. So we are saying we are increasing with only 2%. Hence, our tariff is, the proposed tariff is 21.9%. So we said to our officials, no to 9%. We can't do that. We'll be putting more strain to the residents of eThekwini. But on the other side, we need to sustain services. That's a markup we are talking about. It's only 2% on top of what ESCOM is charging us. So please support us in that. You won't regret your decision. Right. I move electricity. I'm done with electricity. Let me go to the rates. There are packages. I'm sure those packages were raised here in the budget, but they are also written. Please go through there, those slides. Those packages are designed to respond to the plight of the poor. We have even increased the value of houses for pensioners. We said, yes, we understand 250, we increased that. So, because we are caring for the poor and the vulnerable. So look at that, they are there. I don't want to waste your time to make you sit here because we need to close. So those packages are designed to respond to your plight as committee members, and we are not going to charge those who are unemployed, who do not have any income. They must come and register to our indigent register and be approved. Our indigent register does not choose any color. It's an indigent register for residents of eThekwini. It doesn't say, hey, don't come, you benefited before in the apartheid. No, we don't say that. We don't say that. We give you services. Because we are not going to be reversing apartheid. We need to assist community members. Lastly, how are we going to monitor jobs that they are distributed to every citizen of the city? That's a big question. And the answers are not going to be coming from the mayor only. They are also be coming from you as residents. But let me attempt to give you some few answers. Only few. As a city, we want to implement something in Australia and other developed countries which they are implementing solidarity economy. Solidarity economy is an economy that recognizes those who are disadvantaged. Not only by slogans and statements we are going to be making, but by action. We are implementing that. Each and every ward, we are going to establish social enterprise. Community, social enterprise. Each and every ward. We'll put a criteria to everybody. The communities will also be part of understanding how that thing is going to be done, and we are starting it. Those social enterprises and cooperatives and all the other social interventions are aimed at changing some of the things. We have realized that it's not everything that we should be doing through tenders. It's not everything that we must do through tenders. cutting grass, overgrown veggies, trimming trees, road markings, patching potholes. Why are we giving that to tenders? We are changing that. We are changing that. Sorry for those who have been benefiting through those tenders. We are now putting communities to participate in their developments so that they can have ownership of their own community. So we are implementing that. It's not a promise, it's a commitment. There's a difference between a commitment and a promise. A promise is when you get somebody say, I'm gonna marry you. It's a promise, that thing. But a commitment is when the mayor tells you, we are putting a plan. And please, good people, go and read the state of the city address that I presented last week. You'll get the details of what I'm talking about. So don't say we are doing nothing. Go and read that. And what you'll be reading there is what you are going to see. Those times are gone when the politicians must come here and make a lot of promises and do all sorts of things. We are saying things which we are going to do because we are putting plans in place to do those things. So trust us. Right. As I take leave, I hear the argument about drugs. In the CPD, we can give you evidence that police officers are working with drug lords. Some, don't say the mayor said every police officer, no. Some officers are working with the criminals. They are colluding with criminals. Now what we must do is the following. Firstly, let's conscientize them. Don't do the wrong even if there's no police officer watching you. So just touch your conscience and do something right, right? All public servants must have that in their minds. That's a culture we must instill to remove the culture of corruption. As your mayor, I'm standing before you. I'm not going to commit any corruption. And I'm saying it here. I'm not saying it in the corner somewhere. I'm saying it here. I'm not going to commit any corruption. I'm going to service the community because you are paying me. But you don't pay me 3 million, you pay me 1.4 million per year. Yeah, not 3 million. You only pay me 1.4 only. So please don't say I earn 3 million. I can't wear a suit like this if I'm earning such. So you can see it's aging, eh? You can see it's aging. So there's no bonus for councillors, by the way. For councillors, there's no bonus, there's no leave. For councillors, no bonus, no leave. You work. I'm representing you now, councillors. You don't get bonuses. You don't get leaves. Yeah. All right. As we close, on behalf of the municipality, I would like to express our words of gratitude for your contribution, your inputs that you have made. I'm sure when there's something that makes you angry, it's better that you cough it out than you get rehabilitated. I think this exercise have helped us because you have coughed it out and say, Mayor this, Mayor that, Mayor this. So that on its own, it's an exercise that will assist us to heal and also go forward together to change the community of eThekwini for the better. I thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let's have a short prayer to close our meeting. Let's stand up and pray and close. Councillor Zoe will pray for us.
Can we bow our heads? Father God, we thank you for a knitting of hearts of the communities that came here today. We ask, Lord, that there would be truth that has been spoken that will come down to the ground. That the things that are said can be made accountable to the people who have said them. And we ask that you unite us and you give us wisdom in our communities to do the things that we have committed our hearts to do. We thank you that you are above everything, that you are for us, and that you will make a way for us. We have each other, we have our leadership, and we pray a knitting of hearts. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Councillors, thank you. Our meeting is adjourned. You may leave. Thank you.